Welcome to Handforged, the podcast where real tradespeople share their real stories. Here at Handforged, we're dedicated to bringing attention to the trades, fostering a community of blue-collar professionals, and offering support through shared experiences and insights. Each episode will dive deep into journeys, challenges, and successes of our guests. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out in the trades, you'll find valuable tips, inspiring stories, and practical advice to help you navigate and thrive in your career. So grab your tools and get ready to be inspired. This is Handforged.
All right, everybody, welcome to episode 1 of Handforged. A little bit of a different layout than you'll see in the other ones. I'm kind of a guest host here while we talk with Frank LeBlanc of Seacoast Cabinet and Handforged podcast. And so first, before we even get into the structure, tell us, Frank, because this is your vision and kind of your baby. So tell us what the Handforged podcast is all about and how you came up with the idea.
Yeah, man. So, I've been in the trades 25 years, started young, and, I've met a lot of people. I know a lot of people in the industry, and it just seems like, a lot of the blue collar guys are having a hard time kind of growing their companies. Everybody kind of gets stuck at certain points. Not that I'm some super successful business owner, but I have been able to build a pretty successful business, and I have a huge network of people. So I just figured that we could, get some of these blue collar people in, kind of figure out, where their barriers are, kind of try and bring in some people that can help eliminate those barriers, hear some stories about how guys got started in the trades, kind of where they started, where they're at, where they want to go, and see what we can do to just kind of help them to grow and to, meet some people that can help them to grow.
And bring more attention to the trades as a whole, as an industry?
For sure, man. Yeah. I remember being on job sites, doing installs and doing kitchen renovations, and we'd be the youngest guys on the job site by 20 years. There was nobody in between us and the older generation, and there was very little people coming in after us. So if we can bring some attention to the trades, make them cool, and make the younger generation, take some pride in what they want to do for their living. I think we can do that with the trades. It worked for me, and it's worked for a lot of people. And at the end of the day, this country, the backbone of this country was built on trades guys. The roads that were put in, the buildings that were put up, the trees that were cleared. All this stuff was done blue collar. And I think that, bringing some attention back to that and bringing some pride back into that is important.
So I know we know what the trades means, but let's pretend someone isn't sure. What does trades mean to you? Like what kind of jobs or?
I guess anything that's not behind a desk, I can't even consider myself blue collar at this point because, I'm in a management role, but, I work with a lot of trades. I work with a lot of the trades guys in the cabinet company. So for me, blue collar really just means somebody that's working with their hands to do whatever that is. And I guess it's not even so much just blue collar, but, small business owners, entrepreneurs, those types of people that are trying to build something is kind of what we're after. But because my network is so blue collar heavy and I come from a blue collar background, that's going to be kind of the focus.
And we'll get more into that background and like how you interact with tradespeople in a little bit. But how do you think the trades are now versus like 20 years ago? Was there more interest then? Is there less now, or vice versa?
I think that for a long time, the trades were somewhere that you went or did if college wasn't for you. College wasn't for me. School wasn't for me. I could not sit in a box and listen to somebody talk and retain that information and then apply it in a school setting. So I think blue collar is great for the people that don't want to go to college and don't really have any interest in continuing their education in a classroom.
So let's get into your background. Obviously, owner of Seacoast Cabinet now. Tell us kind of how you got started and what got you to where you are today. I know you did like a little bit of construction beforehand, and there were some other businesses before Seacoast, but tell us about that.
So I started in the trades at 15 years old. Probably a different route than most people took. Maybe not so much in the trades, but in most industries, I was, facing some time. I was on juvenile probation, and I got expelled from high school sophomore year. And I had to find a job or I was going to get locked up. So I actually lied on a job application for a furniture company about my age and ended up getting a job there. And, it took me a little while to kind of figure it out, but a tradesman kind of took me under his wing and introduced me to that trade. And honestly, if it didn't happen, who knows where I'd be. So that's how I got kind of introduced to it. I worked for furniture companies for about 12 years before I jumped out on my own. I started my first woodworking business part-time in 2017. And then, I'm sorry, not 2017, 2007.
Yeah, 10 years.
Yeah, it's been a while. Yeah. I started my first in 2007, and then I jumped out on my own full-time 2012 with the woodworking business. And it really just kind of started as repairing furniture, doing antique restoration work, doing upholstery work. And then from there, it just kind of graduated into designing and building custom furniture. I did that for a while, and then we started picking up contracts for millwork packages for restaurants and breweries and hotels down in Boston. And at the height of that woodworking business, I had, 3 guys full time. We had a 4,500 square foot wood shop, dust collection, wood racks, a spray booth, and the whole nine. We were rocking and rolling. It was a lot of fun, but it was really hard to scale that business because I was in the tool belt for, 12 to 15 hours a day, and then trying to manage the business side of things on my off time. And it was just really, really difficult. The building that we were in ended up getting sold, and the new owner of the building didn't want us in there, evicted us. So I had 30 days to clear out all my equipment, find a new shop, get set back up. We had projects going, and it was, I tell you, at that point in my career, I've never wanted to just go to work for somebody else and punch a clock more, right. Because it was debilitating, and it was so stressful. But I had a couple of contractors and a couple of designers that wanted me to install kitchens for them. And I was always against it because I could build cabinets. I was like, I'm not hanging other people's cabinets. But I ended up, just kind of reaching out to a few of those people and saying, hey, listen, like, we don't have a shop now. I just bought a trailer and some job site tools. Like, we're ready to do some kitchen installs. So we started doing kitchen installs, and it was a very small part of the business when it first started. So we did a couple of installs. I ended up finding a new shop, but then those installs just kind of grew and kind of took over the majority of the business. And I realized it was a really easy business model to scale. It was easy to train guys to do it. There was something tangible. The big thing with the trades is like you have something tangible at the end of the day. You start with either a rough pile of lumber or you start with an empty space. And at the end of the day, you can see what you've done. And that's kind of I think the heart of the blue collar stuff is that, like, that tangible, that instant gratification of having something and seeing what you've done at the end of the day.
Right.
So I realized that we could really make some money and grow a business doing the installs. So we started doing a ton of installs. And then, I ended up kind of partnering up with a guy to help me start the Seacoast Cabinet location in Rowley. So at that time we were doing both the installs and the design and sales of cabinets. And then about 3 years ago, I finally kind of took my tool belt off and started managing the business full time. And that's kind of where we're at now. We have 4 designers in the showroom. We have my oldest son, Tyler, is our administrative assistant, plus logistics coordinator, and probably about 15 other hats right now. So we're scaling that way and just kind of building.
Yeah, so small team. And there's, just to clear this up, because we had a conversation off air, there's 2 Seacoasts,
yep.
But Rowley is yours, and that's the only one that is part of your business.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
So the person that owns Seacoast Cabinet in Portsmouth helped me start Rowley. So he owns Seacoast Cabinet in Portsmouth, and then as of right now, we're partners on Rowley, but we're working out some stuff right now for me to kind of take over ownership.
So let's talk about Seacoast for a minute. You guys, tell me what you do. Obviously, you design kitchen cabinets and that kind of thing. But like, how would you explain it to someone you just met?
So we, Seacoast Cabinet out of Rowley offers cabinet and countertop options from design to install. So pretty much, if we have a client that reaches out that's looking to redo a kitchen, or if we have a contractor or a builder looking to do a kitchen, we go out to the house free of charge, and we we measure out the space, and then we take those measurements back to the showroom. We have a design software for kitchen cabinets and for the manufacturers that we carry. And we, take those measurements, we design it out. Our design services are free. So the first design and quote is free, and then up to 2 revisions after that is free. We put that together, we send that to the client. They make their changes or revisions. And then, once they're happy with the design, we place the order. We have 3 manufacturers that are all American made, and the cabinets that we order and design are built to order. So we send the design to the manufacturer, they build the cabinets for us, and then they ship them to our receiving location in Kingston, New Hampshire. And then from there, we have a delivery crew that will deliver them white glove out to the job site. And usually what we do is, once the cabinets are delivered and payments are made, we send all the final plans. And then once the cabinets are delivered, we meet the contractor on site or whoever's installing the cabinets to go over the design, to kind of go over the install, make sure that they're clear on what goes where and, what the vision is of the kitchen. And then they do the install. We try and kind of stop in while the install is happening in case they have any questions. Once cabinets are installed, we schedule the template for countertops. Our fabricator goes out, does the template, and then a week later they go back out to install the countertops. So we kind of work as just a design and retailer for cabinets, but because of my experience in install and because of the experience of the designers in the showroom, we can help with the install side of things and kind of aid in that way. We also have an installer, so if we have a client that comes in that doesn't have somebody to install the cabinets, we do have somebody for that as well.
So it sounds very like hands-on versus going to a big box store.
Right.
You don't have a team of 4 who is doing it all day, every day for everyone. So it sounds like customer service is a big part of what you do too.
Yeah, for sure, man. And that's kind of, I think, what sets us apart a lot from, especially the big box stores, but some of these other, lumber yards and stuff, is that, our clients aren't just a number to us. We build personal relationships with a lot of these people. We get invited out to dinners once the cabinets are finished or the kitchen's finished. We build these personal relationships, and, we genuinely care about our clients, and we genuinely care about, their projects, because we know, redoing a kitchen's tough, man, especially when you have like families and stuff, because you're without a kitchen for, 2 to 6 weeks at any point.
Right.
Washing your dishes in a bathtub, and it's just not easy for people. So we try to make it as efficient as possible to make sure that they're without that space for the least amount of time. And we have fun. We just have a really good time with our clients. We have a good time in the showroom. We are professional. We get stuff done when we need to get it done, but it's those relationships and the experience that people are having, both employees and clients, is very, very important to us. And it's a job, right? We're all making a living and feeding our families from it, but at the end of the day, it's something that we're all passionate about. It's something that we like to do. We all like to be in the showroom. We like what we're doing every day. We like building these relationships with our clients and our contractors, and doing all that type of stuff. So
that's kind of like the small business advantage. When you work with the small business, you get that attitude.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you guys handle everything from like a builder who's maybe doing a complex of or a multi-unit. Maybe that's a little bit on the entry level, up to like luxury. Because I do a little bit of marketing for you too. So I was at a kitchen yesterday that was pretty luxury. It seemed like it was custom. So you guys cover builder or homeowner for pretty much whatever they need?
Yeah. So we have 3 lines of cabinets. Our kind of premium line is Omega Cabinetry. It's built down in Waterloo, Iowa. And I've been doing this a long time at this point. I've installed a lot of different manufactured cabinets. I had a lot of people that wanted my space when I opened the showroom. And there wasn't even a question as to who was going to be in the front of my showroom. Omega cabinets are very well made, very good finished product. Have a lot of door styles, a lot of colors. You can custom color match any color we can gang boxes together to build cabinets and runs. We can do custom, there's 1/8 inch increment increases or decreases by height, width, or depth. At the end of the day, I was building custom cabinets, and I can't take a custom cabinet box that I built and put it next to an Omega cabinet box and tell you why that custom cabinet box is 100% more, and it's going to take 8 months longer. So it's one of those things, like, you can't beat them, join them. So and Omega is in the front of our showroom, and I absolutely love that cabinet line. Homecrest is our middle of the road line, so it's a semi-custom cabinet line. Has a lot of door styles and a lot of finishes, not as much as Omega. Has some custom capabilities, but not as much as Omega. But it's great for those first-time home buyers, or the first-time people are doing a kitchen renovation, younger families, because it comes with a lifetime warranty, all plywood construction, soft close doors and drawers, dovetail drawer boxes at a good price point. And it ships pretty quick. We get it in about 3 to 5 weeks. And then we also carry Mantra, which is our entry-level cabinet line. Mantra is kind of carried by everybody. It's a very popular cabinet line because it's entry-level. Still built in the States. Some of the doors are built, I think, in Vietnam at this point, but comes really quick. I can get it shipped within a week. It comes fully assembled with finished sides. It has, the soft close doors and drawers. It has the dovetail drawer boxes. And honestly, as long as I've been doing this, I don't know how they produce the cabinets that they produce at the price that they produce them at. It's pretty impressive.
So you're not sacrificing quality for a lower price if you need to get in with something.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So like a lot of the flat box stuff that's coming from overseas, like we can beat that pricing with Mantra by 15-20% sometimes. So it's just a really good line for certain applications. The downside is there's not a lot of SKUs. So there's only a limited amount of sizes of cabinets and cabinet boxes. There's only a couple of different finishes and a couple of different door styles, but it's great for people that want to do, flip properties or rental properties or investment properties, just because it ships quick and comes with a 5-year warranty, and it's just a really good constructed cabinet for the price point.
Right. So you won't have to worry about, it breaking down, like, versus a product.
Yeah. And it's, no particle board, so it's not falling apart if it gets wet, type of thing.
Cool. Well, let's talk about, so we're kind of flipping the roles. Like I said earlier, future episodes, you might be asking the business owners about their business and how it started. And so let's talk about yours. When it started, what do you think were some of the challenges? Obviously, you probably had to set stuff up from scratch, like deliveries and hiring. And what were some of the initial kind of roadblocks, I guess? Or
for me, man, it was, going from having a tool belt on every day to not, like I was talking earlier, how things are, your projects are tangible. Like, there's instant gratification. When you're done a project, you can see what you've done. Now where I'm managing the company.
You're doing everything, right? I mean, you don't have like an onboard HR department. It's like 5 employees, and you're in charge of setting up everything to make sure it works.
Right. Yeah. The business side of things and the structure side of things. And, I try not to get into, managing clientele, because I just don't really have the time or the attention that customers need for me to really manage their projects. So yeah, that was kind of the hardest part, or one of the hardest parts when I first started was, at the end of the day, I'd work all day and get all this stuff done and be super productive. But at the end of the day, I didn't know what the hell I did all day. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing there. We actually used to joke I was going to start buying Lego kits. And as I check stuff off on my agenda, I'd put some pieces together on this Lego kit. And at the end of the day, like, hey, look, I got a spaceship. You know what I mean? Just so I felt like I had something tangible. So that was tough. And going from, job site to managing designers was tough for me, because, I can...
It's a total 180.
Yeah. Managing blue-collar guys on a job site is much different than managing designers in a high-end retail design company. So it took me a little while to figure that out. I used to be a little bit of a hothead. I could be on the job sites, but I can't, because now, there's designers involved, and, it's a little bit different. So it took me a little bit
different mindset for everybody.
For sure. Yeah. For sure. And like, it's tough to make a guy cry, but sometimes
never want to do that.
Yeah.
But I take it you have.
I have. Yeah. The designers will tell you in the showroom. I'm pretty sure I've made everybody cry in there at this point. But
you learn from it.
Yeah, I figured it out.
Yeah.
Things are much better now, but it took me a little while to kind of to really figure that out. And then the business structure, like, when I started the woodworking business, it was just like, yeah, I can do this and I'll figure it out. I don't have a business degree. I didn't go to college. Like, I had no idea what I was doing. I just knew that I could make money doing this. I could make a living doing it. And it was my passion. So it was like,
just learn on the fly.
Just learn on the fly.
Figure out all the financial, like invoicing and all the insurance, all that stuff as you go.
Took me a little bit to figure all that out.
Yeah.
But, with this company, we've really put together standard operating procedures and, really built the company up to be self-sufficient, to kind of be able to operate without me being in the showroom every day. In doing that, I've learned a lot and I've made a lot of mistakes. But, I've learned from them and I've corrected them. And, as of now, we're doing well. We're rocking and rolling. We're growing, and, things are good.
So here we are, 7 years after you started Seacoast, I think? Or
No.
What was it?
I think it's almost 6 years.
Almost 6. So what would you tell, like, Frank 6 years ago as you sit here today?
Man, what
like
would
one, I know it's hard, like one piece of advice, maybe it's just, focus on the future, or I don't know.
I think, understanding business better. I didn't go to college. I don't have a business degree, so I've learned a lot of things in books and networking. Like, I have a good friend that, always says your network is your net worth. And I always knew that, but I didn't realize how crucial your network is. And I should have really started networking and meeting people and asking questions much sooner about the business. I just always thought, like, whatever, I'll figure it out. But there's a lot of people that know the things that I don't know. And I think it's really important to know when to be the teacher and when to be the student. And I wish that I would have kind of learned that a little bit earlier on.
Good advice for those young people starting out.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, before we get to future goals, let's talk more about Seacoast growth. I'm going to gravitate towards marketing, given what I do. So I'll ask you a few marketing questions.
Who's the best marketing agent?
I won't go
John
that far,
Almas.
but if you need anything. So how did and I think I've been helping you now for a few years at least, but how did your marketing change from when it started to where it is now? I mean, it seems like not that long, but pre-COVID and after COVID is way different if you ask me. So how, like, in the last 6 years, how was it changed for you?
I guess, so with the woodworking business, I got a lot of business from social media and Facebook specifically. And it wasn't through like the business pages. It was more through my personal branding. Like, I have a story and people like the story. Everybody likes a good underdog story. And I was, I brought in a lot of business just being who I am and talking about my story and being open about it and making sure people understood that, like, this wasn't handed to me. I worked for this. So Facebook was huge, but I didn't understand, like, I was boosting posts and I didn't understand about targeted audiences and demographics and all that stuff. I just knew that, like, people were seeing my stuff and I was getting business from it,
Right.
So, as far as the change is really just kind of understanding, the differences and kind of what works, what doesn't work, kind of keeping an eye on that data, and continuing to grow with the environment, because things change, man. Like 5 years ago, even, like, I wasn't even thinking about Instagram, and now, Instagram is kind of the main marketing platform for our social media stuff, and just the things that you can do and the tools that you can do with that stuff is awesome, and then you set up the Facebook marketing stuff, and like having those ad forums and really kind of streamlining the whole process and putting that CRM system in process. That all, has made a huge difference for us as far as efficiency goes. And then, outside of that, I guess, is like understanding Google, kind of doing the SEO stuff. I work with 8 Waves Creative, actually right up the hallway here in Amesbury. I knew what SEO was, but I didn't realize how important it really was. And to kind of see the data now that we've really kind of dove into SEO and kind of building up that campaign, seeing all the data and how much it's grown since we started has blown my mind. So, I wish I would have paid a little bit more attention to that stuff, like the Google SEO and the Google My Business and doing blogs and the backlinks. Like, I didn't even know what the hell backlink was a year ago, So all of those things and kind of growing that is really kind of where and how we've changed.
Yeah, and I think that human-centric marketing is going to be more important than ever as we go forward. Like, unless you're Nike or Apple, people are buying from you because they know you and trust you. And so that's kind of like a common theme, I think, from before to now. It's just becoming more and more important because people want to buy from someone or work with someone that they know personally.
Agreed.
So,
yeah. I mean, the talking head marketing, like what we're doing right now, talking on a podcast, people can see my face, people can hear my story, they know where I came from, they know what I did. Like, people want to do business with people that they know. It makes them comfortable. Right. And, people that know me are comfortable working with me. So, and that's kind of what this podcast is for, as far as, the marketing for us goes, is like getting some content, making sure people understand who I am, what I'm about. So we'll get a little bit of marketing out of it as well. And then the people that come on and the guests that we have will also get some marketing and be able to explain their story and do the same thing that we're doing right now.
Right on. Yeah. And I wanted to clarify, you said the CRM systems and everything earlier, people might not really know how much that can help them and how it can help you. Just what that is we set up so you have the ads, but then you have the whole system behind it that like makes it easy where you don't have to be hands-on. And do you think that's something that a lot of small business owners are missing? Like, I found that people were paying me to make them videos and they didn't do anything with it, or if they got leads, they didn't have the capabilities to like smoothly follow up. Do you think that's a gap in a lot of businesses? Like, they know that they should put out content, but what do you do with it and what do you do with the results?
Oh, for sure, man. And this is kind of a plug for you because you helped us build this system and put this thing together. But it's been huge because, anybody that calls, anybody that fills out a Facebook form, anybody that reaches out through the website or any social media accounts, it all funnels into one system. We have all the contact information that's there. We can put in the project amount so we know how much the project is costing, so we can analyze that data. And then we have pipelines that we move these customers through. So, when we schedule a measure, we move them into a pipeline that's scheduled measure, and then the customer gets automatic updates, texts and emails, so that nobody's forgetting about these. There's no miscommunications whatsoever. But it also makes it more efficient for the designers because they don't have to send these emails. All they have to do is drag a customer into a pipeline, and all this automation happens for them. Because at the end of the day, we want our designers designing and managing projects as often as they can.
And it doesn't seem like a common thing I hear is people don't want it to seem like it's just generic. It's still, it overall improves the experience, right? They get more touch points and like it's customized messaging. It's not like a robot per se, but they probably appreciate the more regular updates.
Yeah, I think so, because at the end of the day, somebody, the designer has to move that customer into a pipeline. And, so there is a personal touch, like we are keeping track of that project, but, at any given time, our designers have 6 to 10 kitchens or 6 to 10 projects going on at any time. So we just want to make sure that the communication is still there because, what's worse, like getting automated updates or not getting communicated with. And we just found that we were dropping the ball too much, where we just weren't communicating this information enough with who we were working with. So this just helps to make sure and ensure that we are communicating and that everybody that's involved in the project knows what's going on and when. And I think it's huge. And then, collecting all the data, knowing when somebody calls, when somebody fills in a Facebook ad form or reaches out on the website, like that's all separated in the CRM system. So we know where stuff is coming from. And then, if we do special events, we set up a separate phone number for that. Like we can track that. So we know that like if I'm hosting or if I'm doing sponsorship with the sand sculpting competition that's happening in Hampton, we can set up a separate phone number so that when people see our logo in the sand and want to know more about us, they call the phone number and it comes through as a lead from that sand sculpting competition. So it's good to have that data and to be able to know what's working and what's not working.
Right. So it sounds like you have a pretty complete strategy from generating awareness to getting in front of people who are searching for you to getting them through the funnel, even sale and then post sale with like communication throughout and staying in touch the whole time. So it sounds like you have a pretty good strategy and system now.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, there's always room for
right, and nothing's perfect. Like the stuff we worked on, it's definitely a work in progress.
Yep.
You'll be like, hey, this just shit the bed, fix it.
Right.
We have to fix stuff, but
it's one of those things like, are we better off than we were a year ago? Like,
right,
hands down.
Yeah. So let's get into some goals, unless you have anything else that you think we missed about like your marketing side of things or day-to-day stuff.
No, I think it's good.
So what are your goals we have written down 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, 10 year. That's kind of granular, but like, what would you say, like 1, 5, 10 years?
So for me, like 1 year, we want to continue to build efficiency, and really build our lines of communication and our involvement in projects, because sometimes we get so busy that we design this beautiful kitchen, we send the cabinets, it gets installed, and then we literally never get to see the final product because it's just design after design after design, and that's what I want to get away from. So we're fully staffed now, finally. We're giving the designers a little bit more time to really kind of hold the hand of our clients and build some efficiencies in the business. And I want to continue to kind of develop that and really streamline that whole process for the next year. Within the next like 3 to 5 years, I would like to make some acquisitions, either buy another showroom or open another showroom. I think that once we have all our standard operating procedures in place for everything and we have all these systems in place, it's going to be easy to kind of copy and paste somewhere else.
To grow your reach, like geographically? Kind of the goal?
Yeah. I'd like to have, a showroom a little bit closer to Boston. I'd like to have a showroom, in the Portsmouth or Southern Maine area, and really just kind of grow it so we have a little bit more of reach to different areas.
And it would help those areas, like you'd be able to, get stuff quicker if you have 3 different shipping hubs and stuff, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. And then, long-term goals for me, if we're talking 10 years, like I'd really like to have multiple showrooms, have a good leadership team in place to really operate and build the day-to-days. And, we've talked about really kind of transitioning into a design build company. Right now we design the kitchen, we deliver them, we help with the install, but we only have control over that portion of things. And with the experience that we have in the showroom and kind of the way that we do things, we could really have more control of a project from start to finish. So it would be nice to, really have the whole project, just specialize in kitchen and bath, but, help with flooring, help with paint colors, help with lighting, help with, the fixtures and the appliances and all that type of stuff, and really have control of the project from start to finish.
So it'd be kind of like someone has a really specific idea, they could get your help from start to finish.
Yep.
And be more involved with the build.
Yeah, and have, interior designer on staff that can help with paint colors and all that type of stuff, and, have a construction crew that can, do the project. And it really just kind of helps to give us control to make sure that things are going the way that they're supposed to go.
Right.
Because sometimes we run into, the blue collar industry isn't known for great communication, so sometimes it's just difficult to work with some of these contractors and these builders and make sure things go smoothly. So it would be nice to really kind of have more control over that so that we can make the experience for our clients better.
That's a good goal, good long-term goal. So let's go into our last little piece here, where we give some practical advice to someone starting.
Don't do it.
Someone starting. What would you say to someone who maybe isn't even like out of high school yet and is going to go into the trades and they're interested in like building, whether it's kitchens or maybe it's just someone who wants to start a kitchen, installing kitchens, or start their own like company like you did? What would you say?
I mean, I would say to, plan it out, educate yourself, build your network, because all of that knowledge is so important. Like, you do not know everything. You got to get that through your head real soon, because I thought I knew everything, and I definitely did not. So I think that, building all of those things, building your knowledge base, building your network, super important. Before you even pick up a tool or start any kind of trade, like, try to figure out where you want to be. Do you want to help a small company grow? And if so, what's that look like for you? Do you want to start your own business in 10 years? If so, what's that look like? And plan that accordingly. Think that like, all right, I'm going to help this small business grow, and I'm going to build my experience. I'm going to build my knowledge base. But in 10 years, I'm going to start my own company. So plan ahead, start acquiring your own tools, making sure that you learn everything you can from, whoever it is that you're working for, about the business, what they do right, what they do wrong, what you would change, what you would keep the same, and really just plan it out. For me, I was just so like, and I've always kind of been this way, like, screw it, I'll figure it out, man. Like, right. Whatever, I'll make mistakes, it'll knock me down, I get back up, it's not the first time, but, I wish that I always knew I was going to own my own business. Like, my work ethic is much different than most people, and I knew that I could succeed in it, but I just never planned it out. It was just like every day I went to work, I punched the clock, I did my job to the best of my ability. I built a really good name for myself and a reputation in that industry. And I knew I was going to have my own business someday, but I just didn't plan accordingly. Mm-hmm. And I wish that I would have kind of, really planned it out a little bit better, even if it's just a broad plan. Like, you don't have to have a step by step by step.
Like that's like a 5-year goal or 3-year goal or whatever.
Like, this is what I want to do, and this is kind of what I see as the outcome at the end of the day. Like, what is going to be best today to get to that outcome 10 years down the road,
right?
Even if that outcome is broad.
Yeah. Sometimes it's hard to do that because you don't know what you want to be.
Right.
Like, I was talking personally, like, I didn't know I was going to be this honed in on marketing when I started. I was doing a million different things. But yeah, I mean, there's value in doing it the way you did it too, because you learn, and it might take a little longer.
Yeah.
But you figure it out.
And I feel like that's the difference between somebody that goes to school and gets a business degree and understands all of these things before they start a business. They have a leg up. But where I beat those people is in my ambition and my work ethic. Like, you're not going to outwork me. There's very few that can. Right. So, if you can have somebody, like my oldest son, Tyler, who's going to school for business, he already kind of knows what business looks like, and he's going to school, he's going to get this education and learn different things in marketing and, like accounting and all these different things that I have no idea about,
Right.
He's going to be able to come out of school with all of that education and this network in college, and do whatever the hell he wants to do, and he's going to have a leg up. He's going to have a head start from where I started. Like, I didn't have any of that. So, I think that making sure that you understand that and understand the value in that is super important.
You can do it either way. Just because you're in the trades doesn't mean you can't be a business owner.
For sure.
You just got to go a different route.
Some of the wealthiest people I know did not finish high school.
Right. It's just whatever works best for that type of person, mindset.
Yep.
So that was a good first episode.
I think so
too. Did you say?
I mean,
yeah. So normally Frank will probably be here interviewing other business owners. Let's talk about who.
I kind of like my seat.
Well, maybe you'll stick in that seat. I like it too with the black and the wood. But let's just give a little foresight into what you have in your brain for the type of people that will be on here, whether that's anyone you've already talked to or just idea. Who do you think will be, you don't have to give specific names, but like what kind of business owners?
Man, I'll tell you, since I've been kind of posting some stuff about me and you doing this, I've had a ton of people reach out, and a lot of people are interested in kind of listening and getting on the podcast. And so I'm super excited about it, man. It's going to be a lot of fun. Even if this thing crashes and burns, like, we're going to have a good time doing it, So I think that the people that are be coming on will be some contractors. I have a network of people, of other professionals in different industries, so if we have a contractor that comes on that's having a hard time hiring, like, I have somebody that can kind of help guide that process.
Right, because you went through all that.
Yes, yeah, fucking more times than once. So I think that, it'll be a lot of contractors, going to be some entrepreneurs, some business owners, a lot of different people from different industries and kind of different places. Like I said, blue collar heavy, but not specifically. Like, there's a lot of people out there that are not blue collar that have some pretty cool stories. Like, I just want to meet people, man. I want to hear their stories. I want to know how they started and what they're doing. I want to know where they want to be. I want to know what's holding them up. Like, I would just want to help. And at the same time, it's going to help me. I'm going to learn a lot too. I'm not going to sit here and tell everybody that, like, I know everything and I have all the answers. Like, I'm not there yet, man. But I know a lot of people, and I know a lot of people that have those answers. You know, so if we can bring some people on and make some good connections for people and help people to network a little bit and get some knowledge, build that wisdom base up, and whatever, man. I just want to help. That's it.
There's a lot of crossover too. So I mean, struggles that a blue collar person faces, or a contractor or another small business owner, will be relevant to, you know, people in their similar shoes, but anyone who maybe is starting a business in the industry. So there's a lot of crossover.
Yeah, for sure.
think,
and even, you know, not even people that have their own businesses. You know, if we bring in an electrician that works for somebody, like,
Right.
I want to know what your day to day is like. Like, what's hard about that for you? What are you having troubles with in that? Like, you know, and, you know, what can we do to help? Where are you at now? What's your plan? You know, how'd you get into this? And, you know, see if we can kind of help them to excel as, you know, as an employee. Like, that's perfectly fine. Like, not everybody can be a business owner, man.
Exactly.
It's not as easy as everybody thinks it is. And my phone is on 7 days a week, man. And it doesn't matter where I am. Like, I've sold kitchens on the side of mountains. I've sold kitchens on an airplane. I've sold kitchens on lacrosse sidelines for my boys. Like, I just, my phone's always on. I'm always working. And not everybody really has that ambition and that focus to really do that day in and day out. The world needs employees. And just because you're an employee doesn't mean that it's a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. Like, we need that, you know, and you can build your way up. You build yourself up as an employee and do really well for yourself and help a small business like mine or like yours really grow.
Right.
And as long as you have the right owner in place that you know, wants to see you succeed and wants to see you make some money and do all that stuff, like, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
For sure. Yeah. Being a business owner is not for everybody. That's for sure. All right. So if anyone watching this has any questions for future episodes, drop them below, because we'll have a Q&A section going forward. But where can everyone find you? Obviously, Seacoast Cabinet. What's your Instagram handle? What's the best way to find you? You said Instagram was kind of your primary social right now?
Yeah, so Seacoast Cabinet Rowley. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram. We're going to have the YouTube channel up.
Your website, if someone wants to like inquire about a kitchen, is that the best place?
Yeah, the best bet is the website. It's www.seacoastcabinetne.com. You know, good way to reach out. And then my cell phone's always on. You can always shoot me an email, direct message, leave a comment, whatever's easy. I'll try and keep up with it all.
You have your phone on you at all times, so
yeah, it doesn't
either
stop,
way. All right, well, thanks for listening. We'll see you guys next time. You know, episode 1 was good.
Episode 1 was
Follow
good,
along.
man.
You'll get more. We'll create some short form stuff from this, and we'll see you next time when I'll be behind the camera probably, but you never know.
We'll get John in here sometime.
All right.